you've only had these brief intervals of practice with the team. What do you want to see from them, I guess, out of what you've done?
Yeah, Todd, I just like to see the same thing we've been seeing in practice. We've got a hungry team that's energized. They've been waiting a long time for this game. The practices have been exciting. They're chomping at the bit to play somebody else. So I know it's been hard from the standpoint, like you said, we're limited what we can do for practice. We've had 2 hours per week on the ice with them. But the energy that they've shown, the work ethic they put in over the summer to be ready for this is really exciting. So it's just you're going to drop the puck. We're going to play. We're going to learn a lot about our team as we go along. There's a lot of positives that have come out of what we've done in the training camp or in the first few practices that we're looking forward to seeing in games.
Jeff. Tony, since you and your staff took over, what's been some of the challenges trying to piece this team together, whether it's hitting the road recruiting, evaluating personnel, getting familiar with what these guys can and can't do, and just trying to have an idea what this team might be capable of?
I think all of the above, but I think the biggest thing that we've tried to accomplish, and I think we have, is the guys that are here are good players. The last 2 years, when you have tough years, you don't win as many games as you're expected to, and you struggle through it, your confidence goes. And when I and Donnie and Mark got in the room, that's the first thing we noticed. We saw a fragile bunch of guys that had their heads down, were not sure on where the program was going and where their future was. And that's kind of been our process since the time we took over, is to build them back up, put them on the ice with each other, let them know how good they are, let them know why they were recruited here, why they are Badgers. And that's what our practices have been designed to do, to get some of that confidence back. They're good players. Like we got some forwards. You look at what the NHL did with the draft, and just the 4 guys that are drafted. We got 2 first-rounders in the lineup. We got 2 other guys that were drafted in 3rd and 4th round. They're really gifted players. So I think we got a fun team. I think we got a team offensively that can be very exciting from a fan's perspective to watch. There's some areas that we're going to have to improve on and be better than they were in the past couple of years defensively. But we're not going to be a team that's going to emphasize just sitting back and playing defense. We're going to be on the attack. We're going to hopefully give those offensive players the ability and the confidence to be able to go on the ice with knowing that they can make plays, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put the other team on their heels by being on the attack. That's the way we'll play. I think that's the way our team is built. And like I said, we're just looking forward to getting out there and going against somebody else now.
Andy.
Tony, what do you know for absolute certain about this team?
They're hungry. They are really hungry. Like I just mentioned, that the last 2 years, when you come to the University of Wisconsin as a hockey player, you expect to come in and compete for national championships. You expect to win. And the junior class and the senior class, with what they've gone through the last 2 years, and the freshman class last year, is not what they expected. And so I think that alone is something that I think we've changed on how they've approached the game, how they've approached coming into the locker room. I think we've just tried to get them back to what they felt like a couple years when they walked on campus. They were great players that were recruited here to help us win, and they've worked hard throughout the summer. They've committed to what Jimmy Schneider, who I think is an outstanding strength and conditioning coach. He implemented a lot of new things that were more competitive, more challenging than maybe they had been in the past. They've risen to the occasion as far as handling it extremely well, and I think that confidence on what they did in the weight room and in the training has carried over onto the ice.
Jeff. Tony, back to trying to reestablish some confidence for them. I'm assuming that you've taken it as far as you can as coaches to this point, that the next step, that once they experience some success on the ice, that will be the next step for them.
Very true, very true. And I think, for me, I was surprised getting on the ice with them. I knew of the players and what potentially they could do, but when they jumped on the ice and I was out there with the first practice, their offensive ability and how to make plays and how to use each other was far more advanced than I thought. So for what we've seen as coaches, and again, we're practicing against ourselves, we're only on the ice 2 hours per week. It's not a lot of time with them. But the things that they have shown us have gotten us really excited about what we're able to work with.
Tony, you mentioned the defense, not a lot of experience back there. Is that just kind of a work in progress as you move along through this season?
I think so. We're going to ask him to play a little bit differently. We're going to ask him to be up into play a little bit more. I think when you're up into play a little bit more as a defense, it helps you defensively because, for instance, when you think sit back, you think defend, you don't get yourself up in the play, which doesn't allow you to close a gap when there's a change of possession. And then there's space between the attack and the defender. So we want them up there. We want them tight. We want them to be more aggressive at helping offensively, but I think it'll help their defensive play as well. I think we got better skating defense than I thought. Now we just got to teach them a few principles that'll help them. And Marco Sicchi, who is as good as there is as far as developing defensemen. I think everybody here knows the group that he's had in the past in his recruiting classes and how he's helped them develop. And we're watching a lot of them play in the NHL right now. He's going to be able to help this group a lot, and I think there's a lot of upside for him.
You have a sophomore captain this year, I think only the second one in school history. You want to talk about the leadership of him and the assistants, what they've done so far for you?
Absolutely, and we had a summer to kind of evaluate and watch and learn and get to know these players to decide who our captains would be. We did get input from the players on who they thought their leaders were in the room, but as a coaching staff, we evaluated them pretty hard over the summer to find out. And I think there were a lot of guys that stepped up and were in the discussion, but when the decision needed to be made, it was clear Luke was our guy. Cameron and Grant were two guys that very well could have C's on their sweater. But if you look at Luke, really, he's what you want your captain to be. He's the skill part doesn't mean anything to me. It's the work ethic, it's the heart, it's the commitment to your program. And there's a guy that at the end of last season, there were so many NHL experts and people saying he's got to get out of there, he's got to jump, he's got to get to go play juniors and help his draft status. He's going to be a pro player. He should get out of Wisconsin now. And he stuck with it. He stayed with the commitment that he made to the program. I thought that was a huge kind of character test for him because a lot of people in that situation would have said, yeah, I'm going to bail out of this. I don't like it, and I can go play juniors, and it can help my draft position. Instead, he stayed here. He worked hard. He had unbelievable reports from all the NHL teams on what he did in the combines and all the interviews, and represented our university with the pro side of things extremely well. I can't tell you how many calls I got from NHL people saying that Luke Cunnin was the guy at the combines. And obviously, when he got drafted in the first round, there was a chance he could leave and go play or pro hockey right now. And again, that opportunity he decided was better for him to come back and be part of this program. So there were a lot of things that pointed for him to be our captain. He obviously had a great freshman year. He's a guy that's going to be on the ice a lot. He drives our team from a work ethic standpoint and a pride standpoint.
How do you think competition can help your goalies? You had Matt last year, but now you have a couple guys coming in that could push him.
Yeah, and Matt certainly last year got a ton of experience. I think he's ready to play. There's two young guys that are coming in that'll both get opportunity to play in the first game, which is nice. You can dress unlimited guys there. So we'll see a lot of different things there, including both of those goalies. It always helps. Competition is always a good thing. And Matty's worked extremely hard over the summer. He's a great competitor. He wants to be on the ice. He wants to be in the net for all the games, but we're going to give these other guys a chance early in the season. And if they can play and take some of the workload away from them, we'll look to do that as we move along in the season.
Andy. Tony, what's been your biggest revelation to this point?
Oh, I don't know. I think the part from the day we got in, we just wanted to kind of reestablish the pride that Wisconsin hockey, the community, the alumni, anyone associated with has in Badger hockey. So I think we've worked hard at that. I think we've made a lot of strides in a lot of different areas. The recruiting side of things, Donnie and Mark and myself have been out on the road a lot. We've been in a lot of places learning the talent pool that's coming, letting them know that the Badger program is going to work hard to get back to the level that we want it to be at. And I think we made great strides in a lot of different areas. The alumni is excited. Hopefully they're back a lot. I think the community, the things we have as assets from a coaching staff to recruit and to get the best players is second to none. I don't think there's another school in the country that can offer what our university has to offer. So we've had a lot of things positive over the summer happen to us from that side of things. And, you know, it's exciting because the season's getting going now, and we're going to drop the puck on Saturday. And I think the steps that we're going to take to get the program back are on its way. Obviously, getting people in the building to see us play is going to be important. And what we want is when they come, we want them to come back. We don't just want them just to pop in and say, okay, let's see what they got. We want to prove to them that our program is going to be competitive. We're going to work. We're going to be like the volleyball team and the football team and the crew team and the women's hockey team. We're going to play hard and compete every night, and it's going to be exciting. And, you know, we need the people back. That's an important step in moving forward. And I think this group of this group of players, with what they put into it to get ready for this season, will be exactly that.
What's been the reaction from the players in practice to what you're asking them to do differently than maybe they've done in past years? The defenseman jumping into the play a little bit more.
It's energized. Like, you know, so if we went 45 minutes 3 days, went 45, 45, 30 the first week. Then we went 30, 30, 30, 30. So we're not on with them. So we go hard and we go fast. The pace of practice is intense. There's not a lot of time in between drills for any discussions. We're working them. And they've been, you know, they're excited. You know, we don't have a whole lot of time for meetings. We got, you know, with the rules and the limitations on what you can and can't do, there hasn't been a ton of coaching. But the time we've had with them, their energy and how they seem to be sponges on what we're trying to teach them has been encouraging. And like I said, it hasn't gone well for them. So we got good customers right now. They're looking for something that's going to be exciting and fun and different than what it was from the standpoint of the success that they've wanted to have, and what we're giving them should be energized and should be exciting.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tony.